Welcome to the Knowledge Point viewers. Today we are going to go to the new topic, that is we are going to make the JavaScript based simple projects. Let me start with the simple application, that is simple counter. We are going to make this application by using JavaScript, HTML and CSS only. Before going to the coding, let me see the project overview. This is the view that we are going to create by the CSS, HTML and JavaScript code. That's why I put this prototype. We need to create the container. Upon the container, we need to create 3 web elements. Actually, in the web page, the contents, which means the members of the web page, are called as web elements. So this is the number box. On this number box, we can enter. We can increase and decrease the number by clicking this plus icon. We can increase the number from the number box. By clicking the minus icon, we can decrease the number from this number box. So that is we are going to do today. Before start the coding, we need to plan regarding the coding. So we need to make 3 files. As I mentioned earlier, we need to prepare the HTML file, CSS file and JavaScript file. HTML file, we need to create this HTML file to make the skeleton of the web page, because the initiations, parts and all are happening under the HTML file, then CSS file and JS file. And after creating those 3 types of file, we need to go to the HTML file and initiate the web element. So we need to put the ID, which means we need to put the identification to identify the web element under the web page. So actually we have 3 web elements, 2 buttons and the 1 number box. So we need to initiate the values under the HTML file. Then we need to link those JavaScript file and CSS file, because we have created we are going to create those files separately. That's why we need to link those files, JavaScript and CSS file. Then we need to move to the CSS file. We use CSS file for the styling purpose, because actually the web page must be interactive, should be colorful, and the web elements, we are using some bordering styling. We can use some shade styling. So we can use the styling for the body, for background color, container, because the container includes 3 web elements such as buttons and the number box. So we can use those styling to those web element also. So thereafter we need to write the code on JS file. Actually the functions happens under the JS file, because we are creating the functions under the JS file. So we need to create the variable to get element and function for increment. Actually, I'll demonstrate you. Actually, when we are clicking the minus button, this number will be reduced from the existing number. So the function is The reduce function is comments by the code of the JavaScript file. So we need to put, we are clicking this button. So this action happens through the JavaScript file. So we need to put the code under the JavaScript file. As well, increment purpose also, we need to write the code for the increment function under the JS file. Okay, then let me move to the practical. I'm going to use the text editor that's called Visual Studio Code. First of all, I'm going to open a folder. Then I'm going to create the new folder under the desktop. I'll put the name as sample underscore counter. Then I'm going to select this folder. Under this folder, I'm going to create the new file. I'm going to create the HTML file. So I'm clicking the plus icon. I need to put the name. Just I save this HTML file as counter.html. Then I will get the layout. Then I need to indicate the ID for each web element. So that's why I need to put the ID for the container, number and the button. Because there are three elements: the number, increment button, decrement button. So three elements. Those three elements are under the container, because container is a portion that surrounded and include all the web element. So we need to use those kind of things under the div tag. Because ID is a unique name, because we need to identify those web elements. From that only we can specify the function through the JavaScript file. That's why we need to put the name. I'm creating this CSS file as style.css. Here I am attaching the CSS file, linking the CSS file. I need to link the JavaScript file also. I need to link my JavaScript file under the body. So I need to attach after the div tag completed. So we are using the script tag. Under the script tag, I'm going to link the source file for the JavaScript. I'm going to name that JavaScript file as main.js. Let's start the JavaScript coding. I'm going to create. And here I just create the variable for the button, add button, reduce button. That's why I have chosen the let, because I'm going to take that variable. I name the variable as add. Under this document, get element by ID. the ID just I copy and paste it from the HTML page, because the idea I have given under the HTML. Then I prepared the variable for the int value. Let's start with the integer as 0. Then we need to provide the function for that. I have created the variable as at. We are using that event listener function, and we are going to use the click function. That's why I put click, because we are storing the starting value as integer variable under the integer variable. So we need to make start this integer variable. When we are going to click the plus icon, the integer variable should be increased. So that's why I put integer equal integer plus 1. I'm going to do the same thing for the reduce minus. Here this will change as integer equal integer minus 1, because we are going to press the minus button, so we need to reduce the value. I'm going to print that output under the inner HTML and store under the integer. I have mistaken to put the 9. I should remove that 9. So now I have changed the 9. I'm going to save that file and run the code. Okay, let me demonstrate. I'm going to click the plus icon. Now you can see the value has been increased. Now again I'm going to click the minus, the value has been decreased. Again minus, we are getting the minus value, again plusing, getting the increased value. So the given function has been successfully implemented. I'm going to explain the code in brief. Actually, we have started with HTML. We provided the layout. We have linked I have linked the CSS file upon the head tag. Under the body tag, we need to classify the container, which means the container. This is the container I have told earlier. I put the ID to recognize the container, ID as container. Under this container, I put 3 elements. For number, I put the ID as number, this one. For the increment button, I put ID as increment. For the decrement button, I put ID as decrement. Then after completed those div tag, I have attached my source, link my script file. Then I move to the CSS file. Here I use the body tag to make the background black. Then I use the container tag. Here this is the container tag. Actually, I use this container ID. That's why I put asterisk. Upon this container tag, I fix the height, width, border, margin and background. So from that we got this green color container box as per the given height, width, border and margin and background color. Then I styled the h1 tag, I put the text align as center and color as white. That's why I get the discount the heading under the center alignment, and the color also came to white. And I need to style the number field. I set the height, width, margin, border, text. Those are the styling thing, as well like the number. I put the increment because we are putting this name from this ID. We identify from this ID. So that's why we use this particular ID upon this CSS file, and we set the style. Then I'll move to the JS. First, I'm taking and create the variable for the add button. So I'm creating the add variable. Upon this, I'm going to identify the web element. So the ID is increment for add button. So I'll copy and paste this ID of the add. And I'm going to take reduce button. The ID for the reduce button minus button is decrement. That's why I just copy and paste it here. Then I need to put the value for the number, ID for the number. I just copy and create the variable. Then I need to create the temporary variable because we are going to start with the 0. That's why I put this as 0. Then add function. I'm going to call this add function. We are using add event listener because we are using the click function, because those are the button. That's why using the click function. Then when you are going to click this plus icon, the integer value, the existing integer value should be increased by 1. Then the increased value should be print out when you are using this add function. As like that, we need to use the reduce function only when we talk about the contrast between the add function and the reduce function is actually upon this add function we are using integer is equal to integer plus 1, but here minusing the value. That's why we need to use this function integer is equal to integer minus 1. If I change this, I'm going to save that. I'm going to refresh this. I'll put 0. Now you can hopefully understand the concept. We are getting the increased value by clicking the plus icon. We can decrease the value by clicking the minus button. So this is a simple counter. You can make your code by using the basic JavaScript, basic HTML and CSS. Let me meet in next video and we will do the more project regarding the JavaScript language. Thank you.